just like with a student sign-in where you can track the category and activity that the student is coming into the center for, you can also track your tutor work hours. We use tutor tasks if you would like a particular task for the tutor to select at sign-in, just like a student would pick an activity. You can also track their work hours and even their pay rates. So what I'm going to do in this example is I'll be creating some tutor tasks. I'll show you the pay rates. Then I'll create a new tutor. I'll assign the pay rate to the tutor, show you the tutor pad options, and then I will sign in with that tutor ID. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is let's go look at tutor visit tracking, and here's where I can set up the items I was discussing, tasks and pay rates. So tasks are again what the tutors sign into, what they can select from at sign-in. So I've got some set up here, volunteer hours, and then under a category called work, overtime, and regular hours. Now once I've done that, then I can go to my setup here, and in my tutor sign-in, there's a checkbox that says display the tasks screen when tutor signs in. So if you uncheck that box, they won't be picking a task at all. If you check it, then they'll select from the tasks I just showed you. Next thing is the pay rates. And I've created a couple here called Peer and Pro Tutor. They can be whatever you'd like. And this determines the pay range, so minimum, maximum. I'm saying that a peer tutor is going to make between $10 and $12 an hour, so I can put anything in between those two values. The options up here, starting from no-show rate down to group of 4, these are all appointment-based. So you can track the tutor pay based either on their straight sign-ins when they sign in and sign out, or only if they're in appointments. So this says if the student does not show up for the appointment, I can pay the tutor or will pay the tutor 75% of their base rate. Preparation rate would be if the tutor signed in but not currently in an appointment, so I could do a percentage of my overall pay of that. If I allow group appointments, do they get more on a group of 2, a group of 3, group of 4 students? Okay, so that's how you set up your pay rates. Now let's go back to users, tutors, and I'm going to create a new tutor here. And of course you'd want to put an email if you want the tutor to get things like appointment confirmation emails or use messaging center. You would put the email in. But I'll click Save. And remember, when I save a tutor record, it pops open a screen where I enter what activities the tutor assists with. Now in this case, I don't care about that because I'm just setting it up for tutor sign-in. So I just won't assign any activities at this point. All right, so now I have that tutor in there. And what I can do at this point, I guess I should have done originally, is I can put the pay rate right here. So let's say this is a pro tutor. That's her base rate, 12. Now I can make that up to 14 as I recall. If I try to add something more than that, it's going to tell me that it has to be between 12 and 18. Okay, and then this is how I decide, is it for straight when the tutor's in, when they're signed in or signed out, or is it for appointments? So that will determine how that pay rate is calculated. All right, so now I'll click Save, and now that tutor record is saved. Now, by the way, I can set a tutor password right here, or I can globally set all of the tutor passwords. You may or may not be using tutor passwords, so let's go look at that next. That's the Tutor Pad options. So I'm going to go to System, Setup, Student and Tutor Pad options. So when the tutor signs in, they'll get the Tutor Pad screen automatically. This determines what the buttons that will be available from the tutor pad. So the ones that are checked are available, the ones that are unchecked are not. Now here it says tutor must enter password to do any operation. If I don't check that, then the tutor would not need a password to sign in. Exit tutor pad when a button's clicked. Well, that's self-explanatory. If they click a button, it automatically closes the tutor pad. And I don't even have to show the tutor pad on the main screen if I don't want to. Again, they're going to get it automatically. So let's go back because I've forgotten that tutor's ID. We're going to go edit and steal that ID. Return to sign in, and now sign in with that tutor. Here's my tutor pad. So here's where I log in as staff. Now I could be a student and a staff member and log in either capacity here, but I'll log in as a staff member, and now it's showing my categories and tasks that appear underneath them. So I'll just say it's regular hours, and now Karen Adams, the tutor, is signed in. I could sign in any other tutors I'd like and get the same kind of information. So here's Morgan Freeman, my tutor, is signing in for, let's say, regular hours, and the process continues. Now once the tutor is done, they would sign out, or we can create rules on the back end to automatically sign them out. If I look who's in here, you'll see there's my two tutors. Now I'm not showing any students at all. I have the capacity to disable the ability for students to view other students, because remember, this main screen could be a student sign-in station, so we may not want students to see other students waiting, but they will be able to see the tutors. Anyway, let's say that this tutor is done, and now I can log out, and now Karen Adams is signed out. Now I could do the same thing for Morgan. So now my two tutors have signed in and also signed out. Let's go back into the back end of the software. And tutor visits tracking, reports, and then I can do different reports here. So let's look at tutor work hours, for example. So this shows, now there's Karen Adams, the one that just came in for regular work. She was here less than a minute, so it didn't log any time. Here's Cindy, has been in several times. These three, I didn't have a tutor task. So you'll see if it's blank like that, she didn't pick a task. Here she came in for regular work hours for 12 hours and 15 minutes. Tutor payroll. Again, it's calculating based on my peer or pro tutors, whether it's for sign-ins or for appointments, showing the number of hours the tutor's been in, what their pay rate is, and the amount of pay based on that information. Now, the other thing I would like to mention briefly here, because it will be covered in another video, is when I sign in as a tutor, you'll see an admin button. If I click that admin button as a tutor, then I have access to the back end of the software. Now let's look through this briefly. And it looks like in this case, aside from pay rates here, that I've given my tutors, now I don't have appointment things, but I've given my tutors a fair amount of access on the back end. Okay. Now, how do I control what the tutor can see or not? Let's log back as an admin. Then I'm going to click System Access Groups, and all of my tutors are assigned the Tutors Access Group automatically. So if I uncheck various items here, I'm saying that the tutors cannot get to these menu options. Now I can pick and choose accordingly which ones I want them to get to or not. Now, a new feature for version 2016 is the fact that I can make a screen read-only. So here I'm giving the tutor access to the student's screen, but I'm making it read-only where the tutor cannot then go in and edit the student record. They can merely view it. So I've set that tutor access group the way I'd like it. Let's sign back in as a tutor and go to admin, and then look through the various options. So you can see I've unchecked various items, and now they've gone away. They're grayed out. But if I look at students, remember I set that to read only, I click students, and what I don't have is a save, edit, delete. But I do have the view mode, so I can view any of the student information.